Welcome back to Chosen. Welcome, welcome. We are here discovering the life of true parents and their impact on the world. I've heard that some have actually adjusted their dinner schedule just to be with us here live. Well, no matter what you've had to adjust to be with us here now, thank you. We're really glad you made it. During this 21-day live docu-series, we will be exploring the lives of our true parents who are without a doubt the most forgiving and loving couple of all time. Now, if you've never heard of true parents before, don't worry. Let me put it this way though. I know of no other couple throughout human history that has impacted every nation and every sector of society, let alone in such a short amount of time. How did this mission, which started with such humble beginnings, span the entire globe in just a few years to become a worldwide movement? Well, stick with us over the next few days and you'll find out, I guarantee it. In yesterday's show, we took a journey to discover how Africa captured the heart of our true mother. We heard from our very dear Kathy Rigney on True Parents' course to lead Africa to experience unprecedented victories. Thank you again, Kathy. I've been receiving emails from viewers all over the world who are very grateful for the message you shared yesterday. Now, if some of you missed it, don't worry. You can access yesterday's show and the first show, in fact, all upcoming shows and exclusive material you do not want to miss by simply signing up for our lifetime access through the button below. Now for our featured story. Today, to learn through the footsteps of True Parents' mission to save humanity. We will be visiting places you've never seen before. Today, we're going to the land of the rising sun, Japan. Today's story is called Japan, the land of unparalleled unity, dedication, and sacrifice. In this story, the aim is to better understand how father and mother uniquely have loved and raised the nation of Japan. Just moments ago, I was able to speak with Tokuno-san, Tokuno Eiji, the president of our Japanese movement. Today, we are proud to present to you the story that he has to share. Please enjoy.
I would like to mention about emotional relationship between Japan and Father Moon and Mother Moon. Also, how much Father Moon and Mother Moon forgave Japan and loved Japan so much. First of all, as you know, Japan invaded the Korean Peninsula around 1895. Since that, Japan dominated the entire Korean Peninsula, including current North Korea. In this point, I would like to apologize in front of Korean people and in front of the God, Heavenly Parent, and also True Parent, and in front of all humankind. For 50 years, since 1895 to 1945, at the moment of the World War finished, almost 15 years, Korean people experienced so much suffering because of Japanese colonial dominion. In the midst of Japanese colonial domination, 1920, Father Moon was born in North Korea. Still at that time, the entire Korean peninsula was in the midst of the Japanese colonial dominion. However, Father Moon decided to go abroad for study to Japan. And then he went to Japan 1941. He entered Waseda University. Waseda University is the second ranking very excellent university in Japan. Father Moon mentioned, I never forget the emotional relationship with Japan as a first love partner. He mentioned, because he went to the Japan for study, his young age. Young age means, more sensitive, more emotional. Therefore, he couldn't forget this kind of the memory in his student life. I heard about the Father Moon's student life when he was in Japan. He received tremendous suffering because of discrimination. Oh, you are Korean. Korean means the level low people from the Japanese, the people at that time, because Japan coloniated the Korean peninsula, dominated the Korean peninsula, therefore look down to Korean people. However, Father Moon stay in one house. The old men and old women take care of Father Moon with no discrimination.
Oh, like a grandparent, Japanese grandparent.
Yes.
Wow.
As like real grandfather and grandmother. Therefore, when my father came back to Japan, 1965, as the first time after World War finished, and he visited this house as a not official the schedule. He visited and he met the grandfather and the grandmother.
That's beautiful. So father, even though the cultural animosity towards Korea was of course very real, he could somehow have this kind of protected personal experience with Japanese elders who you could say, right, they were older than even the occupation, perhaps, right? They were older than, they came from the Japan that wasn't, colonializing Korea at that time. So he could connect to this kind of pure root of Japanese love.
He was not ordinary student. He was engaged in independent movement from Japanese colonial dominion upon Korean peninsula. Namely, he was engaged in anti-Japanese movement. He prayed for the Japan, please forgive Japan. And then in the future, when he come back to Japan, I want to see the wonderful potential, the young leaders, those who will stand up for the God providence for the future. He prayed like this. And then he came back to Korea. But still, it was 1943. Still, Korean peninsula was dominated by Japanese, the police. And then, when Father Moon came back to Korea, immediately the Japanese special political police arrested him as a blacklist member. And then Japanese political police gave a torture upon Father Moon. Almost Father Moon became die. And then Second World War finished in 1945, the August 15, and then Japan was defeated. Korean Peninsula became independent. Korean Peninsula got freedom. At the time, many Korean people attacked Japanese special political police because of the revenge. And then this is the real story. Between Japanese police members and then Korean people, stand up, Father Moon. Father Moon stand up behind the Japanese special political police there. They were so scared. Father Moon so much tried to persuade Korean people, don't do that. If you do so, maybe in the future, once again, Japanese people try to make a revenge. This kind of the bad circulation, repeated and repeated. In this sense, please don't do that. And then Father Moon mentioned, I received torture. I received the torture by Japanese police, but I forgave. Therefore, please forgive like me upon Japanese police members. And then Korean people were persuaded and then didn't do that. Not only like this, Father Moon took care of police members so that they could go back to Japan safely together with their families. At the time, Father Moon mentioned, I forgave even that torture policemen because 2,000 years ago, Jesus said, we must love even enemy. I must put in practice. Otherwise, in the future, I must go to USA. I must go around the world. I would like to preach. Please forgive each other. Please love each other. I want to preach like this in the future. He mentioned also, I thought about this one political person, more police person, as a representative of entire Japanese people. And then in the future, I must love, I must forgive all humankind. Like this, always Father Moon put in practice to forgive and love his own enemy. The very interesting thing is our member, the Mr. Inoguchi, researched about the special Japanese political police who gave directly torture to the father.
Right.
And then Mr. Inoguchi came from the Miyazaki prefecture, and he came back to Miyazaki prefecture, and then find out this person who just gave the torture to the father. And then met him, and then more mentioned this kind of the story in the past days, and he apologized, and then this kind of the experience came to Korea and then reported to the father. The father so surprised. Father Moon strongly emphasized the importance of anti-communist movement. The VOC. VOC means victory over communism. He started the VOC movement in Korea, in Japan, 1968. And then 1970, already Mr. Kuboki, first president of Unification Church, he hosted the Wakuru 20,000 big gathering in 1970. Wakuru means the World Anti-Communism, the League, and then invited even the American USA, the Senator, the Salmon, also the young sisters of the Castro, also Prime Minister Japan, Prime Minister Korea gave a congratulatory message to this rally. 1974, the Father Moon came to Japan together with Mother Moon, and he gave wonderful speech as a historical declaration in front of the 50 the current congressmen in Japan. He clearly mentioned the God desire upon Japan, also Japanese the providential mission and responsibility. The banquet name is the Banquet of Day of Hope. He hosted that kind of banquet. At that time, former Prime Minister Mr. Fukuda, he attended, and he gave the welcoming remarks in front of Father Moon. He mentioned in front of Father, I heard the Father Moon name since the several years. Great religious leader came up from Korea. His name is Reverend Samuel Moon. I heard this kind of the rumor, but I didn't see until now. Tonight, I met directly. Tonight, I heard his message. His message is great. Really, he's a great man. He so much admired the Father's message. He testified the greatness of Father Moon in front of 50 Japanese current congressmen. And the Father so much inspired. Also, Father Moon so much happy. And then also the former Prime Minister Fukuda so inspired and then so touched by Father Moon's speech. Father Moon so much emphasized living for the sake of others. This is crucial, the lifestyle, crucial, authentic, the philosophy of all human life. He so much mentioned this point. Our Father Moon met former Prime Minister Shinsuke Kishi. Shinsuke Kishi, he is the grandfather of current Prime Minister of Japan, Prime Minister Abe. Also, Father Moon mentioned about God's desire upon Japan to Mr. Kishi. Also, next year, 1975, the February 13th, Father Moon hosted the big festival in the name of Day of Hope. I attended as just one of the students. The Father Moon mentioned in front of many Japanese media people, more Japanese media people, so much watched and so much more tried to catch the identity of the Father Moon. Father Moon is the fat kind of the person. Many more Japanese media people are so curious. And the Father Moon mentioned, you have heard about me as a more, bad guy or cult leader. But today, I stood up in front of you. Please listen to my word directly while you are here. Please watch myself while you are I. And then you make some evaluation. Okay? He mentioned in front of Japanese media people so bravely. I was so surprised. Wow, our Father Moon is a more brave person. Also, he has a more, more great man. At the time, I was just a student, but I'm so inspired by the Moon, this kind of the brave attitude. 1992, the Father Moon stopped by to Japan, the short period. At that time, True Father hosted some congressman special gathering. He reported his own experience in North Korea because the 1 year before, the Father Moon visited North Korea and he met the Kim Il-sung. Therefore, Japanese congressmen also they were so curious to listen to this kind of the very unique and historical experience. Also at that time, Father Moon met the former Prime Minister Nakasone together with Mother Moon and together with the Hyojinim. And then had a wonderful emotional conversation. Also, Father Moon testified his own experience in North Korea. Also, Father Moon mentioned about God's desire upon Japan. Father Moon mentioned God's desire upon Mr. Nakasone as a former Prime Minister of Japan. Nakasone mentioned, wow, this meeting was Big Bang. He was so inspired, so shocked in the good meaning. Never forget, he mentioned like this. Mother Moon, she came to Japan. Also, she made so much speaking tour, more than 150 times. Mother Moon visit many cities, including local city. And then she gave wonderful speech and then expressed true love upon Japan on behalf of True Father, on behalf of Heavenly Parent. Mother Moon gave a speech in Tokyo Dome. Tokyo Dome means capacity is 50,000 people gather. 50,000 capacity. At the time also, former President of USA, W. Bush, couple together came to Japan, together with True Mother. And then before keynote speech by Mother Moon, former President Bush gave a speech, wonderful speech, in front of 50,000 Japanese people. Also verbal Mrs. Bush also gave a just a short greeting. At that time, I charged the director of the security in that rally. And then Japanese policemen, also Japanese government, the government officials are so surprised. Wow, former president of the USA came to Japan together with Mother Moon. And then former president of USA, George Bush, gave a congratulatory remarks in front of the Mother Moon and also in front of 50,000 Japanese people. More Japanese, government officials so surprised. In this degree also, the USA is sure tremendous influence upon Japan. Also Japanese government and Japanese society, USA have. Anyway, this kind of the historical event took place. And then 2017, her mother came to Japan and she hosted 10,000 rally in each main city, Tokyo, Yokohama, Nagoya, and Osaka. 10,000 people gather in each rally. And at the moment of the last rally in Osaka, her mother mentioned first time Heavenly Osaka and Heavenly Japan. After that, her mother came back to Korea and then she mentioned Heavenly Korea. After that also, she mentioned Heavenly USA. 2018, Mother Moon came to Japan. Also, she hosted the commemoration of the 60th anniversary of Japanese missionary. At that time, 20,000 people gather, and then she clearly mentioned the truth of providential history. Also, her mother once again emphasized Heavenly Parent's desire upon Japan and the Japanese providential mission and responsibility in front of 20,000 people. Last year, 2019, she came to Japan and then we hosted the Japan Summit Conference in Nagoya. At that time, I would like to so appreciate for President Ki-gun Kim's the support and investment for the success of the Japanese summit. The former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, came to Nagoya together with wonderful, excellent American delegation. Newt Gingrich, they heard 2 times Mother Moon's speech. In my impression, Newt Gingrich so much touched the Mother Moon's speech more than ever before. And then he mentioned, I came to recognize how much serious the Mother Moon tried to make effort for saving all over the world. As a Messiah, as a Mother Moon. Next day, the 40,000 people gather to the rally place. At the time, the local council members in Nagoya gather and attended blessing ceremony with their own wife. Almost 80 the local council members that attended blessing ceremony. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
I love USA. Please more deliver my best regard to Bishop Kim, also the former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, and the many crazy leaders and the many congressmen. Please deliver my best regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
ありがとうございます。
Bye bye, bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Tokuno-san, for sharing your deep insights about True Parents' relationship with Japan. Also, thank you for your own dedication and sacrifice to support Father and Mother Moon. We are grateful for your time and honored to welcome you to our show. I know that you have a loyal and loving team around you, so please offer our deep appreciation to the blessed families in Japan. Through their unity, Japan has made miracles that I know have brought incredible joy to God and True Parents. Thank you so much. And now, to share more on True Parents' impact on Japan, let's get ready to welcome our special guests. Welcome to the show. Today we have Tomoko Duggan, Senior Vice President of UPF USA, Lou Kiguchi, well known as the Hyojong Dance Director, and Milhan and Sayaka Stevens, second generation couple born and raised in this amazing movement. Thank you all so much for coming on the show. Good to see you.
Hey.
Good to see
Hello.
you.
Just a quick note for those of you watching live, I encourage you to offer your heartfelt comments and give a response to any part of today's show. It lets us know how you're doing, and you never know, your comment may be selected for the featured comment section. So keep commenting. First, for today's guest segment, I'd like to go to you, Tomoko-san. You joined the movement in your native Japan when you were just 16 years old. Soon after that, True Father came there for the first time. Tell us, what was it like for Japanese members to meet True Father for the first time? Was it what you expected, or was it unexpected?
This presentation flashed me back all the way to the year I joined, and then Father came to Japan first time in 1965. At that time, just like parents doesn't know how to hold newborn baby, what to do with this baby. So our movement, that was difficult time, probably over 200 altogether in the church, very early time. And we have never seen Father's photo, not like even one. We have no idea, but we were preparing, praying, fasting, and then so ready to receive our Father. At that time, we called him Dai Sensei, grand teacher. So we didn't know how to welcome him, how to welcome the Messiah who is coming, and we have never seen, never met. And all we know is Jesus in the Bible, and demonstrating all kinds of miracles. So we went to first time in preparing, and we hear Father is coming to the room. We have only maybe 70 to 80 people all together in Nagoya. And then finally, we are going to welcome the Messiah, great teacher.
And you were in the room with these 70, 80 people?
Only, yes. We gather neighboring.
He's on his way from the airport.
To the room, yes, all the way to the room. We can hear it. We are praying. And here, Father is coming. And then finally, we are going to meet the Messiah, Father, great teacher. And we didn't know what to say it, but Father was just 45 years old at the time, young and very handsome. First time ever we met. But we, Japanese people, are reserved people. We do not know how to say it, but big applaud. And then kyonbei was not the customary we were practicing at that time. Because 1965 was the first year diplomatic relationship Japan and Korea were made. Before that, we didn't have any relationship. And then for Japanese, unfortunately, you learned from the presentation, we have some tendency to have Koreans as a second class people. And then we didn't know when we heard the teaching of father was hidden. It's coming from Korea. So it's very difficult situation.
Wow. So in the early church, members didn't know even the source was from a
It was
Korean.
hidden until we really understood and accepted. Then finally, whoever asked where this coming from, but it's still very, very careful to introduce this came from Korea. Because when my parents heard about it, immediately my parents said, you'll be misused. You'll be taken somewhere else.
Sure,
that atmosphere in Japan was not welcomed situation. However, we met father, of course, and then for us, Holy of Holy, waited for so long, but we did not have to deal with father. The father is standing, so father understood. We didn't know how to welcome father. In heart, we are crying and crying, and then even, does he go to bathroom? Did he blow nose? Did he spit? How he drink water? We have completely no idea and so little preparation to welcome father. That was in general, because remember, we have never seen a photo, even father's face. This is the very first time.
So
Big
when he,
shock?
yes, Tomiko-san, just before he came into the room,
yes,
was it noisy clapping or very quiet? And
absolutely quiet,
quiet.
looking down,
And then he
praying.
came in. Did he come into the front of the room and everybody's lining up very organized, or?
Yes, we are sitting on the tatami mat, straw mat. The room is not big, 70, 80 people at the time, packed. It's packed. And we can hear father is walking, coming to this room. And heart was pounding to see our great teacher, first time ever.
Yeah. So you mentioned about, you didn't know the customary kyongbei. So
No.
what did we do? We stayed sitting down, or we stood up and
we
bowed?
just was a bow in Japanese way.
Okay.
So.
and then but what you're describing is this kind of the difference between the expectation of who he would be and walking in as a man in the flesh. Was he wearing a suit?
He was wearing really nice suit, nice tie, and all I remember was father was very handsome. Even though I was 17 years old the year I met him, still I can tell who is handsome, who is not. Father was very handsome.
But you felt that he was sensitive to the Japanese mindset about
yes.
And he wanted to help you understand, skin touch understanding of who he was.
Yes, father spoke Japanese. We are very surprised, of course, And then he was almost whispering. When he speak important things, he was whisper. We have to really open our ears, very careful. And then so father is kind of pretending father, no, we don't know how to do it. And the father, this is also first time for father to meet church member. Right. First time. He knows our political situation, social situation. He was really embracing us And at the same time, he's showing he is actual man, human being right there.
Was he showing his humor as well?
I think so. I don't remember clearly, but I think he sang some songs to open up our heart, to really have some kind of conversation, artistic relationship.
Thank you so much, Tomoko-san. You're really bringing us back to the, this is very early on in the Japanese church. I'm sure you have more stories. Maybe we have time to hear more in a second, but I want to go to you, Luke. Luke-san, you also joined the movement in your native Japan.
Yeah.
When you were in college, right? Studying philosophy. And
yes.
As we just heard from Tomoko-san, Japan offered incredible dedication and expectation of father. Tokuno-san also mentioning this incredible dedication. And this is a church that has made such incredible sacrifices as well to support our worldwide movement. And we've been reminded of the fact that the relationship between Japan and Korea was challenging. I'm sure it wasn't easy for your parents to understand God's calling in your life. Could you tell us, what was it like for you, and how did true parents guide you through these challenging experiences?
Yes. Well, at that time, when I joined 1985, when I was college student, my father was Danbury, I remember. And the church was not really active or, little bit. Yeah. So, and the member really kind of tried to witnessing hard, but same time we have been getting persecution too. And then when I was blessed, 1988, and I matched with Korean
right? Wife.
Yeah. Korean reported to my house. Oh, I matched with Korean. My parents wasn't so supportive, but didn't against that time until I have been working for church, dedicated time, for 3 years. And so, but the situation was changed. My parents really don't like Korean. I married with Korean.
You're now giving your life to a church that comes from Korea. You're following true parents who come from Korea, and you have a Korean wife. And this was still challenging at that time in the relationship between the two nations. So your parents were struggling with this. What did they do to try and solve this problem they had?
Yes, they are like somehow they need to getting some help to me to renounce. And then they decided to kidnap me. And that was happening after I had a blessing ceremony, 1988, and come back to Japan. I came back, went to home. They prepared it. All the relatives was there, and they grabbed my hands and put in the van, and the van drove to the in the midnight in somewhere. I didn't know anything.
So you were blindfolded, right? Now this is what we're hearing now is a story of essentially, we call deprogramming, or really taking against your will. And I know that the parents who did this has happened in several countries. I know here in America, but the parents who were doing this honestly must have been doing it for the sake of, from their love, right? For the sake of their children, not knowing what was really going on, and frankly, out of fear. But this kind of been easy for you, especially after the blessing. And it's not that long ago. And so you were then held against your will, and you were in solitary confinement. Where were you? Where did they keep you, in the house, or where were you taken?
That was, I woke up, I was slept in the bed, and I woke up in the solitary confinement in mental hospital.
Mental hospital?
Yeah, bed and the toilet there.
How long were you there, Luke-san?
Total in the mental hospital was 3 months, but the solitary confinement for a month.
So during this time, how did you orient your mind? Obviously, what they want is for you to forget, everything and go back to how you were before. But you've already really felt your calling, right? You found the
Yeah.
divine people, you found your parents. You know that Father and Mother Moon are leading the world in the right direction. You have a beautiful wife from Korea. You probably love your parents, but you choose, of course, you love your parents and you're concerned about them, right? But you somehow you hold on to your calling. What helped you? What helped you do that?
Well, what I realized I was in the one small room. I didn't know what's happening. I couldn't figure out. I took time, and I almost panicked. You can see very easy to become like crazy because of the nothing rather than bed and toilet, 24 hours the month. It's like but some not like I cannot compare with father's situations, but I got some connections with father's Hunnam's prison. What he be done, he handling the hardship, and then especially like I remember the father's story in the cockroach is became my friends. Nothing else the creature in front of me. So I really I think I have a strongly connected to the father to me to control my emotion. I become very calm. I'm doing my daily routine, eat food, exercising, and then just father done in the prison and yoga practice. All those things reminds me, and then I really having just like a father's life course in my life. That's strongly
like a guiding light for you. Father's own course. It's incredible that Father maybe there's no suffering that true parents haven't already experienced, right, before even us. So Luke, that's a very poignant story. I know that many have had, not many, but too many have had similar kind of
situation. 4,300 Japanese members being kidnapped in confinement.
But you were eventually able to escape?
I escaped, I has to pretend to renounce and then gently get out to the mental hospital.
But tell us now, Luke, how at the end you have a beautiful wife, beautiful children. Finally, your parents become grandparents and they're able to see this is about, lineage, and Father wanted to, bridge enemy nations and bridge across. This is such an incredible heart that true parents have. And also, I'm sure true parents really longing for your victory as a happy family because they know what a challenge they're giving international couples. But I'm sure eventually your parents can see the beauty, right?
Yes. And finally, my parents, my daughter melted their heart.
Their granddaughter was the golden key to unlock.
Is a solutions, really solution. The many Japanese Korean couple,
sure,
in our movement, Father kind of arranged,
right.
After 1988, all Korean match with Japanese.
Amazing.
Many people, and then there are many second generation now doing movement, reconciling relations. Bring bridge between the Korea and the Japan. As many second generation, our flutes been doing, free hug movement or YouTube videos. I'm so impressed. I saw that.
We have second generation with us right now. Luke-san, thank you so much. I know you have so many more stories. Also, Tomiko-san. I'm sure, at the root of every Japanese member's story, testimony, we will find, unparalleled unity, dedication and sacrifice for God and true parents. And it also creates, though, an unparalleled experience for the children born into the mission, you could say. We hear many times about our testimonies as missionaries or joining or discovering, but actually our children also do have an unparalleled experience. So I want to touch base real quick now with Milhan and Sayaka. Sayaka, growing up as a second generation member in Japan, it was undoubtedly a very different experience than that of other kids at school, right? I know that your parents are incredibly faithful and they have been working tirelessly to support your parents. In fact, it was your father who was mentioned in today's featured story that Tokuno-san was mentioning, right? It was your father, the one who found the interrogator that was torturing father, the policeman that was torturing father those many years ago in prison in Korea. This is incredible. I know your dad gave up a lot of his time, even living away from the family for many years through difficult times. With all of those challenges, you were still able to discover your relationship with true parents and understand your parents' sacrifice. That can't have been easy. Could you please share with us what helped you come to this point in your life?
Yes, I as born in this movement, I've never met true parents. I know them only the photo, I grew up, my family. So what I know is what my parents are doing for my true parents and what their sacrifice, their devotion. But I mean, as child, my father was away for many long years, long time, and I don't have close relationship with my father. Then kind of became a little angry, my father, I know you're doing a lot, but I don't understand why you're doing so much for this movement and true parents, God. And it was very difficult. I struggled a lot, in my early and teenager. Yes, but I think same as many second generation. But when I was high school senior, I decided to go to SDF to seek my, God and true parents. Why my parents sacrificed, I struggle so much. I just need to seek that, and I decided to go to that training to seek God.
So you went to the STF Central Task Force, which is either 1 or 2 or maybe 3-year gap year program to develop your life. So you had a life-changing experience there.
Yes, definitely. I really glad I decided to go there. But at that time, my really focus was what is God? What is true parents? And then as I learning true parents teaching and experience their teaching through fundraising, witnessing, I really I experienced myself with God. One day I was fundraising and then I felt so much joy and love. I don't know why I couldn't take it. And then I realized I am God's daughter. God is my parents. I don't know, somehow it just came to me. And I realized father, true parents said most important relationship is father and then son and child relationship. And it was my mind, and I understand that point, but never felt my life. And then after that, I'll never forget experience. And then just learning more and experience more through parents teachings, and I felt so much growth in my spirituality. Then when I see that, kind of finally see my parents doing I see, kind of feel kind of a little bit felt more kind of relationship my father and parents, and that's why they're doing so much.
So as you were able to recognize more your relationship, original relationship with God and the meaning of true parents in your life, naturally you could start to understand your parents' sacrifice and dedication.
Yes.
Thank you both. I know there's so much more to share. Milhan, a word real quick. I mean, you have a beautiful young Japanese wife. You yourself are half Japanese. Your mother is Japanese, but you're born and raised here in the States. Is there anything about today's episode that brings you closer to your Japanese roots?
Yeah, absolutely. That it's a big question for someone who's half Japanese, half American to be living in America and not really understand the Japanese culture and even my own relatives over there. But when I look at the Japanese members of this movement and the level of devotion and willing sacrifice, it's like I'm always looking for an understanding why that is. So when I was watching Reverend Tokuno, who I really respect, and he's someone who's really served true parents well. And the thing he talked about in this interview, what stood out to me was this vision of father standing between the mob of the Korean people who for 50 years have endured this this oppression from Japan, standing between them and these police, and this, in one word, putting an end to all of it through forgiveness. And when I see that, I understand. I can begin to understand why the Japanese people love true parents so much, because this is, I think one of the most difficult parts of Japanese history. And I feel like true parents can wipe the slate clean, and not only through forgiveness, but they're able to, provide purpose and meaning and carry that drive to make peace in the whole world. And I don't think there's anyone else who can really do that. And so it's like, I can see why so many people follow so devoutly.
Yeah, thank you. Japan, the land of unparalleled unity, dedication, and sacrifice. And thank you all for coming on the show and sharing your hearts. Again, to those watching, you can leave a note, leave a message of appreciation so we know how you're doing. And with that, I want to thank all four of you again. Love to you and your precious families. Please stay safe. Now, let's go to some featured comments from our live studio audience. Right. Okay, let's see what we got here. From Pierre. Pierre says, totally wowed and moved to tears every day. The life of true parents is too incredible to describe in words. I am filled with gratitude. Everybody in the whole world needs to hear this. Thank you, Pierre. We also have something from Lorette. I love my Japanese brothers and sisters. You are surely a model of true sons and daughters to all of us. Your deep faith and commitment to attend God and true parents is unseen, especially here in a foreign country and all over the world. Thank you. We love you so much. And from Sonia, thank you so much for this. I have learned so much in the last 3 days about true parents, and I know I made the right decision to join our church. Thank you, Sonia, and thank you to all of those who have been interacting with us live throughout the show. I just want to remind you that we are on an incredible journey around the world with our true parents. So much to discover, it seems like so little time. Remember then, you can get a lifetime access to all past and upcoming episodes, plus too many bonus features to list right now. So just hit the button below and you'll find out more about how to get plugged in. Frankly, it's priceless content. You can have it for a small donation. So access through the button below. I'd also like to remind everyone that the Mother of Peace is now printed and ready for purchase. You can go to motherofpeace.com to find out more. Pledge a few to your friends and family. You will be transformed. So next, what comes tomorrow? Well, we're continuing our journey around the world. As promised, we're going to be going to Europe. The episode is called The European Palette of Many Cultures. And we're going to be hearing about true parents' impact on the continent of Europe. Our guest speaker tomorrow is going to be Dr. Michael Balcom. Many of you here in the US know him very well, of course. And we ask you to be with us at 6 p.m. Eastern to participate in the story of Europe. So on behalf of Dr. Kim, our North American Regional Chair, and on behalf of an amazing team working behind the scenes and all of those who are contributing to this series, especially Tokuno-san, the president of the movement in Japan, who gave us such an incredible presentation today. For those watching, no matter your background or where you are in your journey, we hope to bring you closer to our Heavenly Parent and deeper in your living relationship with the most extraordinary couple in history, our true parents. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.